Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, seriously, the end of this movie, it just ugh, made my skin crawl. It was just like, ugh. Oh my god. Alright, so last night was opening weekend for Don't Breathe in my town, so of course I went to see it. I've been dying to see this movie. Like, dying. Ever since I saw the first trailer, I'm like, fuck yes. And it's by the team that brought us the remake of The Evil Dead, which I actually really enjoyed. Like, a lot of people didn't like it. I liked it. You know, I'm like a huge fan of the original Sam Raimi trilogy, and it got my stamp of approval, so there you go. And here they are, back at it again with like this awesome concept. Alright, so like it's like one of those like classic cat and mouse games in a horror movie, but done right. Like done really good. I think there was like an Aubrey Hepburn movie kind of like this. I forget its name. But the story is Jane Levi, I think her name is. I forget. The first Mandy Malkovich. Her boyfriend and her friend who's, you know, got a crush on her, you know, that whole thing. I forget his name too. I really gotta start remembering actors' names. But he was in like Let Me In and he was in Prisoners. He's really becoming an actor to watch. He's very talented. I feel really bad. I'm just gonna put his name right here because I'm not gonna remember it. I'm sorry. Anyway, so the whole thing with them is that they are burglars in Detroit, and you know the classic like all we need is like one more good hit and we'll be gone. You know that whole thing. And their last hit is Stephen Lang, a blind Stephen Lang. You know, pretty easy. No. Alright, so the whole thing is like Stephen Lang got paid off by this really rich family after their daughter ran over his daughter in her car and, you know, walked out of the courthouse because, you know, family is really rich. Anyway, so he's got like a large sum of money in his house and they're like, boy, we gotta get in there. Like, we just gotta get in there and we'll be done. We'll leave this town. Jane Levi's like, I'll bring my sister somewhere good. We'll raise her right. You know, like, my mother's a piece of shit, so I gotta get out of here. You know, simple enough. So they get in the house and, you know, shit happens. Stephen Lang is like, what are you doing here? I'm just a frail, blind old man. Please don't hurt me. Oh, wait, what's that? Sorry, discount Jared Leto from Panic Room, you are done. So he killed Jane Levi's boyfriend. Her name's Rocky in the movie, I think. And from then on out, you just get this awesome cat and mouse game with a blind Stephen Lang and these two characters. I mean, seriously, this was such a good concept, and they squeezed every bit of tension that they could from this movie. Like, it's a pretty simple concept, I think, but when it's done right, I applaud it. And it was done very right. Like, out of all the shitty horror movies I've seen, and when a movie's bad, you really, especially a horror movie, because I love horror movies, when it's done right, I really gotta applaud it, and I'm applauding this movie. Because, you know, it knew what it knew it was pretty simple. It threw a few twists and turns in there, and by the end of it, you're like, wow. What I really liked about this movie is the restraint that it had. Like, there were a few jump scares, like, obviously, but there's, like, a difference between loud jump scares and subtle jump scares. Like, one of my favorite jump scares in a horror movie is from The Ring. You know, when Naomi Watts is, like, watching the videotape and all of a sudden Brian Cox is behind her. Like, there was no loud noise. It was just tension in a moment, and then there was something wrong. And that's all that it needed to be scary. And there were like a bunch of I can't talk. Bad. There was like a bunch of moments like that in this movie. And it was so good. Because this dude's like super quiet, and they gotta be super quiet. So when he's just suddenly behind him, that on its own is scary. It doesn't need like this giant suspense orchestra. And that was awesome. There were so many moments like that. Now, the main thing that kind of got me at the end with this one is the twist, I guess. I don't know. I mean, they showed it in the trailer. Like, if you've been watching TV, you would have seen this trailer. he's got this girl in his basement, Stephen Lang does, that he's keeping prisoner. And it turns out it's the rich daughter of the family, you know, that killed his daughter. And he's keeping her down there. And I think, okay, it's just like reacting revenge or something. But it turns out he decided to do like a tit for tat thing. You know, like, she took his daughter, so he wanted a daughter from her. Ugh. Oh my god. Just thinking about it. Ugh. Okay, so, ugh. Like, he's like, I'm not a monster. I'm not gonna, like, assault her. I'm not gonna force myself on her. I'm just gonna get what I need. So he does the classic turkey baster thing. Oh my god, it's so gross. Like, as soon as they introduce the rich girl, I think her name was, like, Debbie? I don't know. It's like Debbie on IMDb. But they introduce her. She doesn't say anything. Weird. But, she dies. And he's crying like, oh, my baby. And I'm like, all right, he's trying to, like, reenact his daughter type of thing. But no, it's because she's pregnant with his child. Because he, like, turkey basted her. Ugh. Anyway. So she's dead. So he's like, I'm owed a child. Jane Levy, you will give me that child. And so there's, like, this 5-minute scene where he's filling up the turkey baster with, you know, his gravy. And they really get in there. Like, I saw a hair in there. That's how in there they were. I'm not even joking. There was a hair in there. So he's got the turkey baster, and he's, like, walking with it. And they do it slow motion. It's like, there was so much suspense in it. It was so... And it's, like, dripping on the floor and everything. It was so gnarly. It was just... Ugh. It's just, like, I can't imagine that. He's like, okay, 9 months and I'll give you your life back. And I'm like, fuck no, dude. Fuck no. This is awful. Like, as a woman, that just freaks me out. I don't know if it's just me, but it freaked me out. But, you know... The dude with the crush comes back. He saves her. They do that stupid thing where they leave the bad guy alive and then they run off because they think they got away. And, of course, he comes back and kills a friend. Bad guy. And he sicks his dog on her. And so there's, like, a chase scene with her and the dog. And she escapes it, and he brings her back to the house. And, you know, she kills him. Like, I don't care what the ending says. She kills him. And she activates the alarm, and the police come, and she grabs the money, and she runs. And then it cuts to black. And I'm like, all right, the movie should have ended there, but it didn't. They have, like, a scene towards the end where it's her and her sister, they're at the train station, and she's watching the news, and it's talking about the old guy that was attacked. You know, it's Stephen Lang. He's still alive. They say that. He is dead. I don't care. And especially because they're like, oh, last night burglars broke in. This girl got her ass beat. She had bruises. She had blood everywhere. She probably had a broken nose. And when they're like, oh, this happened last night, I'm like, her whole face healed in one day. Are you serious? Like, that was my main problem. The ending should have ended when she ran away and it cut to black. The police get to the house and it's implied. Like, you don't have to show it. But other than that, it was a good movie. It was actually a really good movie, especially now compared to everything. It was just so good. And I really liked the characters. I thought the bad guy was menacing. I thought the twist was okay. I mean, if the trailers on TV didn't show it, I would have been a lot more surprised. But, you know, what can you ask for? Anyway, if you can't tell, I'm very monotone right now. I'm very sorry. It's very dry in my room. But I really like this movie, and I think you should see it too. I am giving it an 8. Don't breathe. Really. Check it out. Alright. Bye.